Russia is a multinational state with over 185 ethnic groups designated as nationalities, population of these groups varying enormously, from millions in the case of, for example, Russians and Tatars to under 10,000 in the case of Samis and Kets. Among the 85 subjects which constitute Russia, there are 21 national republics, 5 autonomous okrugs and an autonomous oblast. Ethnic groups of Russia, 1926 to 2010. Language and culture. Although the Constitution of Russia recognizes Russian as the official language, the individual republics may declare one or more official languages. Most of subjects have at least two Euro-Russian and the language of the eponymous nationality. There is a lively minority language scene in most subjects of the country, with more than 1,350 newspapers and magazines, 300 TV channels and 250 radio stations in over 50 minority languages. Moreover, new legislation allows usage of minority languages in federal radio and TV broadcasting. In 2007, there were 6,260 schools which provided teaching in altogether 38 minority languages, and over 75 minority languages were taught as a discipline in 10,404 schools. Ministers of Council of Europe has noted efforts to improve the supply of minority language textbooks and teachers, as well as greater availability of minority language teaching. However, as ministers has noted, there remain shortcomings in the access to education of persons belonging to certain minorities. There are more than 2,000 national minorities public associations and 560 national cultural autonomies. However, the Committee of Ministers has noted that in many regions amount of state support for the preservation and development of minority cultures is still inadequate. There's a significant difference between eponymous ethnic groups and nationalities without their own national territory, as resources of the last are relatively limited. Indigenous peoples. Russia is also home of a particular category of minority peoples, that is small indigenous peoples of the North and Far East, who maintain very traditional lifestyles, often in a hazardous climatic environment, while adapting to the modern world. After the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia passed legislation to protect rights of small northern indigenous peoples. Gil Robles has noted agreements between indigenous representatives and oil companies, which are to compensate potential damages on people's habitats due to oil exploration. As Committee of Ministers of Council of Europe noted in 2007, despite some initiatives for development, the social and economic situation of numerically small indigenous peoples was affected by recent legislative amendments at the federal level, removing some positive measures as regards their access to land and other natural resources. Maps. See also, List of ethnic groups in Russia, Demographics of Russia, Indigenous peoples, List of larger indigenous peoples of Russia, List of small-numbered indigenous peoples of Russia, List of extinct indigenous peoples of Russia, Indigenous peoples of Siberia, List of endangered languages in Russia. References. External links, Population by mother tongue and districts in 50 governorates of the European Russia in 1897, Human rights problems in Russia, the situation of non-Russian peoples.